the Sustaining Creativity Podcast. I'm your host, Mari Reisberg. Over the past several years, I've combined my degrees in acting and somatic psychology to share my sustaining creativity techniques with performers. And now I've decided to share it with a bigger audience that includes you. I believe we are all creative, and this podcast is all about that. I'll be interviewing people from all backgrounds, ages, and creativity experiences to share just how creative we all are. Today, I'll be chatting with Michaell Magrutsche, creativity art researcher and artist. Please enjoy Michaell Magrutsche. Welcome to the Sustaining Creativity Podcast. Today, I am here with Michaell Magrutsche. He is a lifelong artist and creativity art researcher. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Mari. I love being here because I love that you have your creativity in your title. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of your family, and I think art. I mean, if you want to define me in one sentence, it's basically I am the one that claims and prove it in any way you want that art is a human superpower and inherent.
I love that.
We're all artists.
Yes.
Yeah, that we're all artists, and that systems separated us in gender, race, and sexuality. Yeah. And also in not seeing that art is the highest form of creativity because it has no purpose. Because the moment you put purpose in it, you neuter it, right?
Yeah, you've lost it. You've lost
Look at our world. Yeah. Even our world, from the war in Ukraine till Apple and Nike and Louis Vuitton or whatever, we created all system, all the states, everything is a system. Yeah. All the companies. So we created everything, and everything was created to a purpose, meaning it was castrated, neutered, limited to what it really is. And still, look at our world. It's awesome, right? The range, as you always say, humans, limitless, all ranges. That's what I would teach my kid, I would say, this is a superpower that you have. Never, ever try to not think you're an artist. Like so many business people come to me,
Right. I believe
they say, I'm not an artist, I'm a businessman. And then they spend $1 million on the museum, but they don't spend $1 million on the plumbers union, right? So so that's the proof that that they feel something, but because we are so far away from it, from our cave paintings, right? From the cave, we are so far away, and artists could never define themselves. So we were always dependent on patronage. So the dude came and said, I hear this music. One of my servants said, there's a musician, come play for me. Then the king hears it and says, okay, you can live in one of my 500 rooms and I feed you. And at night you play Mozart, right?
Right, exactly.
And the same is the church. Oh my God, Michelangelo, great. So you live here in the church and we're taking care of you, and then you paint the Sistine Chapel. So we never, it was never defined. Like when you ask a plumber, and this is the message that I need to get out first, because that we know what we're talking about. Yeah. You ask a plumber, why am I paying you $5,000? The plumber says, I get your bathtub, I get your toilet, I get your shower, I do the piping. Yeah. And my labor is this, right? Yeah. Artists, why do I pay $5,000 for that song, for that movie, for that painting? Oh, I was shown in this museum. I got an award at that show. Oh, my last painting sold for that. So what does that mean? What does that mean? That means nothing. And also it confirms what it does. Also, it confirms we're not even worthy. That what I do is not even worthy to be defined.
Right. your effort, your energy that you put into creating something.
It does mean, why is it more valuable that I lay pipes? Because they have a purpose. See, because if artists would have done what I did, 2 years ago, started, 3 years. Actually, in 2015, I started the self-aware art movement, which is in Laguna Beach, which is to know what you're doing, why you're doing, and that you can explain how. So you can, a lay person, explain, why do I use those colors? I'm loud. I like loud. I am not afraid. So I like contrast. I like energy. So, and when you have the more dissonance you have, a symphony is dissonance and harmony and balance, right? So, and this has nothing to do with business. This is just talk. And you don't learn that in academy, in the arts, MFA. You learn everything about Caravaggio, but you don't learn anything about what it really does to humanity. I mean, it's almost like you don't learn the alphabet. You just think about the muses, and you have never learned the alphabet, Right. It's just,
I love it.
Right. This comes in now, this specific explanation, because you contribute in this. So we actually do right now what I preach. We co-create this episode, and I've never talked about it. Yeah.
It's amazing. I want to ask a question as you're.
Go ahead.
I love the enthusiasm. And when you think about creativity, what does it mean to you to be creative?
It means to be human. It's we tinker. We tinker. Right? I mean, the CEO that works 60, 80 hours a week. What does he do on the weekend? He goes to his garden. Tinkers on it in the garage on his car, or put something together. He could have buy somebody to do this for him. Why doesn't he have somebody doing it for him? Because we are tinkerer. So the word lazy, supposed to, is completely a system. What do you call it? A system word to condition humans. So when you say it's almost like you said, you're supposed to know everything I'm going through as a woman. I can't. I'm sorry, I can't. And you can't what I go through, as well as we can't. I don't know if you have kids, but I don't have kids, so I wouldn't know what it is to give birth. Even if I had kids, I wouldn't know what it goes to birth. And so art is everything I know. I have no education. I failed classes, twice. I was dyslexic. I could not fit in anywhere. And that's now an advantage in the age, because I had to wiggle myself through, and art was always my balance that brought me back into balance to be a human. Because in the art community, we don't care about gender, race, or whatever. We have the first set transsexuals were in the arts community. It's we don't care about that stuff. We say, hey, we're gonna do all. The system cares, which is the art market. When they say, women are not represented, but that has nothing to do with art. See, to make art responsible, that women are not represented. The system and what our art world is perceived of, and that's an other misunderstanding I try to unravel, is it is the art business. Everything you say, it doesn't matter if you get a show in a museum or it's all a business, because every system, like a museum, is based on economic principles. So art is a superpower. I hope I give you a little taste of it.
Absolutely. I love it.
And now you know why you're so attracted, because why people are attracted. I see this all over the world. I talk to all over the world, and everybody clicks right in. No, say, oh, that's bullshit. No, I don't. No. Everybody says, this is it. Art, and I see it because I'm dyslexic. I see context. It's like a superpower of mine, because I'm not seeing it as a hinder. It hindered me to be system educated, but that would be system conditioned. So I conditioned myself. So I taught myself everything. I'm totally autodidact. Everything. I paint, music, whatever I do.
I love it.
Self-taught. Wrote 5 books. I couldn't even read. I still can't read. but I wrote 5 books. Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, the persistence and the passion and drive that I hear coming out of you is profound and enormous. And I imagine there are moments of challenge or where things don't work out how you anticipate
all the time.
So how do you navigate creative challenges?
The art taught me that. Art taught me. I learn everything from art. I say, you want to be wise, you create art and you look at art. Because I talk also to people that come back with PTSD and stuff, they have limbs cut off and stuff. If you can't create it, look at a lot of art. Because what you recognize when you look at art even is the physical manifestation of a conversation of the non-physical to the physical. So when you think about an image, or I think about this right behind me, I think, oh, color, I like that chartreuse. Okay, what is a contrary color? And I'm connecting. It's not, I'm there's a conversation going on, but I can't think about everything. I have to be in the moment. And all of a sudden, dyslexia, all my weaknesses are gone. My sickness when I was a child, and then you're aligned. And then, of course, everything comes. There is no writer's block or nothing, And let me come back to you. I sidetracked with the PhD. How do I do it? How do you
navigate the creative challenges you come up against?
I think there's one other lie that we need to really tell ourselves. That system, I think that's the major system lie of that brought it all. A tribe was basically, we did a tribe, which is a system, right? So that we can lift our human potential. So meaning that you don't sit with your baby whole day there, but you could go and have a life experience to go in the woods and pick berries or whatever, or do a yarn, be creative, knit a blanket or something. But when, so it was here for safety, and you see, of course, that's why we couple up. We are herd animals. We couple up, and you see, and I belong something. And this herd animal DNA imprint that we have. We said, okay, tribe is even better. 2 is better than 1. A tribe is better. And there is a critical point with 150 that I think where it pivots, that it's not as sufficient, but 150 is the perfect number for a tribe. So and now I'm telling you what the answer. The biggest lie is that we have to be aware of, that life is supposed to be sunshine every day. And when it isn't, when it rains, we sell you an umbrella, a car, a pill. So our perception as children, we are programmed till 8 years old. We've taken everything in, is that the world supposed to, here's the deadly word, it's supposed to. And if it isn't, the system doesn't have to do anything. After 8 years old, every time you're depressed, you cry, you fall down, think you get dumped in your love, you get divorced, anything, a disease, whatever you have, is not only that you have to go through this ordeal, it's the self-shame that you inflict on you. I'm not good, because life should be, supposed to be, right?
Supposed to be.
I'm a woman, I'm supposed to be. I'm a man, I'm supposed to be. I am black, supposed to be. I'm whatever, green, I supposed to be. I'm transgender, supposed to be. And that along the supposed to be, I'm supposed to be politically correct. First, the system separated us in gender, race, and sexuality. And now they create an extra system to be politically correct. Why not be just all human and be who you are, First,
and what is it? You're human against yourself when you bump up against your own challenges.
You then say, because over generations now, we have said the world supposed to be sunshine every day.
Right.
You should be in love. You should be the princess. You should, all the stereotypes that they sell you daily. So you can't even get away from it because you daily in the vernacular, you use it. Oh, you beautiful princess, blah, blah, blah. You say to your little daughter.
Yeah.
The daughter is not going to be a princess, for whatever reason,
Right.
She might be gay. She
could be anything.
She could be anything. Yeah. From the whole range, she could be anything but a princess. And actually, she doesn't want to be a princess.
Oh.
But the system accepts her as a princess. And she doesn't fulfill. We are herd animals. We want to please. Human beings are benevolent. They are not mean. That's why you have to give soldiers drugs to fight. Because they wouldn't kill each other.
Right, because we're not programmed to run towards someone who's shooting at us. We're programmed to run away.
Exactly. Yeah. And we are not, when we are disturbed, we kill, or when we put in a corner, but we don't kill because we are human. Human in general are benevolent, like in nature. We are an animal, we are a human animal, right?
Sure.
And in nature, the elephant said, I am better than, I need to step on those ants because they're less than me and kill that thing. I mean, it's balance. Right. It's you have value because you exist. And I think art shows you that. I think, and what I do is I tell the second lie. I say, you have to push through this bullshit, complete bullshit. Face it, observe it, and move on. Face it, observe it. Don't suppress it. So if I would get upset right now, I would feel my feelings. Right. I wouldn't even say, I'm going to suppress my feeling, finish the interview, because the rest of the interview is going to be horrible. I suppress the feeling, and then I can't access the emotion anymore. It's gone. It's now suppressed. It's now in my bones. It's now cancer. It's now something that putrefies into something.
Yeah.
And that's why art is such a superpower, because it brings you in the moment, and it brings you always to humanity. It doesn't matter what a rotten person you are in business or whatever. I've met a lot of people when they come to art shows. They come to art show and they are the puppies. That's when you come an art opening. This is it's showing the magic of art. Without art it's just art is the surrounding. Yeah. It's not so when you are in an art opening, which you have been, race, color, sexuality, political party affiliation, religion, nothing, rich, poor, it has zero bearing. Everybody talks to each other, mostly not about us. And I really went to so many openings because for my books. So I started and said, people don't even talk about business. They say, call me, here's my number perhaps. Yeah. But that's it. It's just hey, how are you doing? How's your family? How's everything? Yeah. Did you get that new dog? That's what people talk. And that's why they feel rich, poor,
right. It's that human connection.
Diversification. Yeah. And nobody, and that's not, I didn't say that first, but Charles Saatchi said that in a Garden interview in like 5-6 years ago. He says, I have to always go back because I never look at the art when I go to art opening. And then I observed that. I did a lot of research in museums too, because I wanted to know how is the art functioning? And I couldn't, I think it was 3 or 4 years ago till I realized what I now blurt out everywhere, that what our perception of art is a business. It's a system. It's not, when the system doesn't say you're an artist, you can do whatever you want. You will never be an artist unless you understand it and say it.
What it is.
So if I'm not selling, and the thing is, they want to sell it like every other system. And it's our fault too, because I said, we did not define ourselves.
Right.
Yeah. So now I made with my podcast part of the Smart of Art, the power of art and creativity. I have 30 seconds, just a quote and a question.
I know, I love it. I listened to a couple of them.
Yeah, just to pivot over and it's twice a week.
Yeah.
If you make this a ritual, I guarantee a double your appreciation minimum. A double your creation and a double your appreciation of art. I double the experience.
Yeah. I mean, because I think that's very valid and very true. I imagine having talked and been around people who consider themselves to be artists or creatives or people who don't consider that they have any creativity. How would you encourage someone to find creativity in their life?
Hear that podcast 3 times. That's number one.
Go listen to the
because if I think this goes off my new book. It's not done yet, but it's almost done. It's the Smart of Art 2, which is creativity, system, humanity.
Oh, okay.
So because every system is a creation, it's an artwork. But if you leave an artwork too long, what happens, it's getting outdated, it gets old, and it doesn't get refreshed. And humans, on the other hand, constantly change and they constantly evolve. So you have these old systems that say, you work hard, you be successful, you're working hard, you got a lot of money.
Right.
These 3 and fame, these 4 words have nothing in common. It's another thing that I found out through art.
Yeah.
Because you can be a famous artist, have no money. And there's a ton, as you well know.
Oh, yeah.
That are super famous. Every museum wants them, every gallery. And they're just good. They're just good museum artists, but then nobody hangs that in their home.
Right.
And you can be working your ass off and have nothing. I mean, half of the world has to live with $5.50. Half of the workforce has to live with $5.50 a day.
Yep.
So it has nothing to do with that. So I'm famous, semi-famous, doesn't show up in money, doesn't show up in success or whatever. You know what I mean? And I feel myself very successful.
Yeah.
But I'm not, the system doesn't say it, but I feel myself very successful. I feel myself a very good artist.
Right.
Because I figured out why. So I don't need the system definition of me. I can give my own definition. But money, success, and I talk to successful people, by the way.
Yeah.
And a billionaire told, and I don't know him, but I know of him. And he said, the best explanation of success is keep as long as you can in business till luck strikes. And hopefully you get old enough. Isn't that the best explanation?
Yeah.
Because I've sold $11,000 paintings.
Yeah.
I have no idea how I did that. I couldn't. No, I mean, there's people, they write 100 books, but it's basically explaining how their path, it's their journey.
Yeah.
But there is no formula. If there was a formula of
everyone
like the iPhone, like the cell phone, right?
Right.
If they had a formula, everybody would have money, would have success, and like they have a cell phone, they have a car. If you have a good creation, like a car, a cell phone, an iPad, people implement it.
Right.
If there's a formula of how to be with somebody else, it's implemented. It's so there is no formula. So, but the system says you do my course,
right? And
I don't have a course, but I consult I consult you or give a speech or whatever. But if you, it just doesn't work.
Yeah. I mean, I hear you saying about like encouraging people to find creativity is to find yourself, whatever.
Oh, absolutely. That is, how can it be different? If my theory is, and I'm sure I'm pretty on top of it, because otherwise I would have so much pushback, I couldn't handle it.
Right.
But so, and when humans agree with me, not the likes, but humans with me, then I feel I'm a sense of genuine. I would also see your doubt, in what you say. And I believe in, like I think the absolute power is not money, it's not power over a dictatorship or under, or that you submit to somebody. Yeah. I think the absolute power is balance. And because the absolute power is balance, everybody's uniqueness. And there is now scientific studies, even the systems say that 97% of humans are born with a specific skill or ability that is better than anybody else. After the school system, that returns to 3% gifted people and 97 average.
Yeah, I know.
And art brings always out or makes you refine your, because you are not dependent, because you have an experience, which is wisdom. And people, of course, everybody's ego wants that. I love this painting, whatever.
Sure.
But when you get the feedback, and I say there's a great example for this. Paint the painting, sing a song, put it away for a week, for months, for 3 months, pull it out, and then look at it. Because even if you hate it, and I've never heard, I talked to the guy in South Africa this morning, and he's a really classical artist and all about, he's in it, like you are in it. He is in it, And I said, please confirm or don't confirm. When you look, there's two things that happen when you pull out a painting after 3 months. Either you know exactly what was missing,
right?
Or you say, this is better than I ever thought. My experience was, it was horrible, and this is awesome, you know? And nobody says after 3 months, okay, I paint over this. This is bullshit. I've never heard an artist saying that, put it away. You have to go through the process, you know?
Right.
That put it away and says, I'm going to look at this later, I finish it, or I don't know what I'm doing with this, and throws it away. And that's the magic of art. That's what art teaches you.
I love it.
Don't be judgmental. Don't be make up your mind right away. Give yourself time to think, contemplate. Wisdom
marinate in it. Experience. Absolutely. I love it.
Animals. We have periods. We have seasons. We have cycles. We need to recalibrate.
Yeah.
And when you look at your own creation and say it's ugly, you're not calibrated.
Right.
So put it away. Come back to it.
Come back. I love it. I mean, we could talk for hours, but I just have one last question for you today.
We can talk again, Mari. It's not a problem.
Perfect. What does it feel like in your body to be creative?
Great question. It feels being in balance. It feels being home. I think it feels being home because, your body, I think your body is the safest place to be. A lot of people are so disturbed that they feel their body is not the safest place, or they go just in their brain. I was half of my life just in my brain. But in order to be sensory and appreciate this world and discover this world, because basically I think we are wrapped up with all the beliefs and everything. Yeah. And then we become mummies. And then there comes the pivot to enlightenment in some way, hopefully we get wise and not thinking, oh, now we're going to get old and die. But so we unwrap the thing and we discover more and more. So for example, my work, I don't invent things, make things up. Everything is unveiled. I unveiled was already here. Like the fountain, you go on the side, you see the sun, the water, the rainbow. And that's what I do. I am great in unveiling, as you probably experienced already. Yeah. I can put words to things where there is no words, I
love it.
And I know they are not correct either because they're guideposts, but they're the better guideposts to get you to recognize them.
Yeah. No, it's inspiring to hear you talk about your process and your thoughts and what it is to be in balance and feel creative and uncover things and discover new things and it sounds like you get surprised by things too.
All the time. I say, oh my God, now I connect the two dots.
Yeah.
It's always, I see something in nature and connect the dots in something else.
I love it. Oh,
but see, that's all value. That's all the value of creatives. And I think everybody, if you guys like that talk, go and start defining your own value and actually recognize it, because you think you can tell me that my art isn't worth anything? No, you can't.
Right.
And I can't put a price on it. It's funny. I can't put a price on it. And that's another thing, because it is so priceless. Anything you create, anything, there's one of you that creates something. How can you price that? There's no chance, right? So true. There is an honoring. So I can give you money as an honoring. I think that should be something we should contemplate. That's why I'll dump this real quick in, so that we can think about how we do honoring.
That's a great question to leave it on. Thank you so much for sharing all of these pieces. If people want to learn more about your work and listen to your podcast, how could they go about doing that?
One website, they need one thing to remember, michaellm.com, and Michael with 2 L's. michaellm.com.
Perfect.
That's everything you get.
I'll put it in the show notes so people have easy access. And thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today, Michael. It has been such a treat.
No, it was a great treat, because I learned so much about it. Because even though I was speaking, I'm just always the loudspeaker. I'm not of the mastermind. So there's a lot there. That's why I love to talk to artists, because we have all this stuff in us. We need to just unveil it, unwrap it. We
do. I love it. Again, thank you.
Anytime.
Thanks for listening to the Sustaining Creativity Podcast. We'd love to keep in touch, so follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We are at Sustaining Creativity. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. Tag your friends and family so they can listen too. We love to hear from you, so leave your reviews, comments, and questions. Check out our website, sustainingcreativity.com, for upcoming offerings and creativity coaching. Tune in Tuesdays for our next episode. And remember, with creativity, anything's possible.